Breaking news in Bachelor Nation to get to. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of the Rush Hour podcast with some Bachelor Nation news. One of the biggest couples to ever grace the world of Bachelor apparently has called it quits. My favorite couple, Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell. Now, we have a bizarre announcement by Matt James. I'll get into why it's bizarre. And no word from Rachael Kirkconnell yet. Now, when you have these power couples breaking up, usually there's a joint release if it's amicable and agreed upon, because that's the easiest way to do it. You know, otherwise it can become a he said, she said. It can get very ugly very fast, as we've seen one person maybe releases before the other one's ready. We don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to go through the whole timeline of events. And again, it's been 4 years. This is one of the more successful couples. And to be quite honest, if a Bachelor relationship makes it a couple years, I call it a success. You know what I mean? This relationship lasted, as long as it was supposed to. But what fans are wondering is why the breakup now, days after they posted what looked to be pretty amicable content while traveling abroad. Let me tell you something. When you're in a new relationship, traveling abroad can ruin a relationship. You learn a lot about somebody when you travel with them, right, folks? I mean, that can be a deal breaker, but they've been together for years. They've traveled for years. They've supported each other for years. And I'll say this, in any breakup, audiences like to quote unquote pick sides. I'm going to be very careful here not to pick sides, but I will say this, and this isn't picking sides, but I will say I'm more heartbroken initially for Rachael Kirkconnell than I am for Matt James. I'll explain why. And again, it could be projecting. It's just sort of that parasocial relationship where I've been rooting her along in this kind of like long-earned redemption arc for the two of them. What a wild 4 years it's been. So let's jump into it right now. TMZ's picking up on it. Everyone's picking up on it. But again, he posted this like 5 hours ago, and I'm recording this as of almost 11 a.m. Central Time. So I'm wondering, is he still in England? Otherwise, like, why would you have posted this at like 5 a.m. New York, right? So here's what he had to say. His most recent, so here's a pinned post from last year, so that's not it. But the most recent post right here is a photo of them at what is the final episode of The Bachelor. He decided not to propose on that episode, and I think it's a good decision. I think a lot of other cultures that run the show The Bachelor don't end up proposing because it's a 10-week experience. I mean, for them, it's only a 3 or 4 week experience, right? For the amount of filming. So who's proposing in that amount of time? Not many people. Well, Matt James posted this 5 hours ago. Father God, give Rachael and I strength to mend our broken hearts. Give us a peace about this decision to end our relationship that transcends worldly understanding. Shower our friends and family with kindness and love to comfort us, and remind us that our joy comes from you, Lord. Heartbroken. And of course, rightfully turns the comments off. I think this is a good idea. I hate it when people feel the need to keep their comments on. Like, you don't owe it to any of us. But what's interesting, she's tagged in this. Now let's go to her page here. But we have no comment from her yet. Her latest post was actually 5 weeks ago, which showed a rather jovial Matt and Rachael together. Now, social media is never an indicator of a relationship. But she did say, happiest of birthdays to my best friend, my teammate, my sous chef, the man that has my whole heart. You fill it and my tummy with so much love and laughter, and I'm so thankful I get to dance through this life with you. Thank you for your never-ending love and support and smooches and snuggles. To many more adventures, happy birthday, my pumpkin, 5 weeks ago. Now, I'll be the first to say there is no way Rachael Kirkconnell ever does The Bachelorette. No way. It would do very well if she did. It would be a very high-rated season if she did. I'm going to give you my general thought on Rachael Kirkconnell. And again, this is from someone who's never met her in person. This is just what I've kind of picked up. She is a kind-hearted soul who's as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. And that says a lot because she's very beautiful. And I think it was very clear early on in her season that she's a catch. Now, what can you say about Matt James? He's jovial, he's super hardworking, super funny, entertaining, but could there be a scenario? And again, I don't know. But could there be a scenario where he's main character and she was kind of done chasing after him? I don't know. Maybe not. There were rumors that they were going to break up when she had her bikini launch and he was nowhere to be seen, which, I thought was kind of like hogwash there, because she did this bikini launch, right? Or whenever it was before this, right? She does a bikini launch and she goes to some, island somewhere and she does the whole photo shoot and the thing, and everyone says, oh, but where's Matt? He's not there. And like, the truth is, that's business. She's running creative direction. She's running all the photo. I think it was this one right here, 81 weeks ago. So this was a big rumor that they were broken up, and who knows? Maybe they had broken up for a little while, maybe not. But again, she was there doing her work, promoting a bikini line that she helped design. She had, a part of a bigger company, and it was a big deal. But there have been many rumors about them throughout the years. But the most interesting one that's happening right now is the question of, why did they break up when 17 hours ago they posted this pizza? Now, what you have to understand about the world of influencing is there are deals that are done. Come to my pizza place. We'll give you $800 and whatever. Here are the deliverables. Post a reel, tag Rachael in it. She gets the money. It could be, for all I know, that the whole entire trip to London was a business trip. Maybe they were flown first class to go there and each made $3,500. I really don't know. In which case, you wouldn't announce your breakup until after the pizza place. But I do have to say, going to a pizza place as your final post together and then breaking up is quite the press for the pizza place. So this is Crisp Pizza AW6. They have 109,000 followers, so they must be a pretty big pizza community. I don't really know much about them, but either way, here it is. Here's the last thing they posted.
Do you have any plans of traveling to London and love pizza as much as we do? Add Crisp Pizza to your list. Pecorino, ricotta, mozzarella. Pay attention, chief.
By the way, if you're cooking at home, throw some ricotta on it. I don't care what you're cooking. If you make lasagna and don't have ricotta in it, you're doing it wrong. Save whatever ricotta you have left over, put it on that frozen pizza. You get one of those cheap frozen pizzas from Costco, throw some dollops of ricotta on it. What is a dollop as far as an actual measurement? A dollop is you take a spoon and you chuck it onto the thing. That's what a dollop is. So here it is. This is the last post people can comment on. Whenever somebody post something and doesn't allow comments, oh, the itch that audiences have, they just have to get their thoughts out, so they'll go to the last post before that and then they'll comment. So we go to the last post here. Sophia says, so you are eating 36-inch total pizza together, as if the size of the pizza matters. Well, we broke up after a 12-inch pizza. No, you broke up after eating 36 inches of total pizza together, and 12 hours later you're doing a breakup press release, ? Someone said, with all due respect, the math ain't mathing on this one, Matt. Have you been hacked? It's actually an honest question. A lot of people are wondering. A few months ago, he was liking all the comments about putting a ring on it and had commented something like, soon. It's weird. Now, his living is his social media, right? Like, this is a big deal. You'd think you'd have two-factor authentication. But I got to tell you, the photo that's used here is very blurry. So I'll be honest. If he was hacked, I think we would know about it by now, right? I think we would know 5 hours later. This isn't some Josh Sider moment where he fakes his own death and then, I'm feeling that because he posted Father God and he's a religious guy, I'm thinking this isn't a hack. I'm thinking if it was a hack, he wouldn't have turned the comments off. So I'm leaning on this actually happened and there was more to the story. And I'm not making any speculations as to why they broke up. If you're and then I speculate. If you're in Rachael Kirkconnell's friend group, you'd say, why hasn't he proposed yet? He's got all the resources in the world. He's probably a millionaire. You know what I mean? He's probably made several $1 million since his season. He does great work, 1 million followers. I mean, he's from the time period where 1 million followers on Instagram was a high-powered living you could make. Now, you get a couple 100,000 and you're trying to sell some, whatever. It's not as good, but he's high powered. He's in the friend group with Tyler Cameron. They're doing things. So very interesting. Very, very interesting. So here's the relationship and drama timeline. I'm going to just run through it here. So there's his season, right? And I mean, what a season we had. Kit Keenan, everybody. Katie Thurston became the Bachelorette after. Of course, we had a slew of Bachelor in Paradise contestants. Obviously, Michelle Young. Where is she? There's a whole bunch of. I mean, it was a great season, right? It was a great season. He decided on his season that he wouldn't sleep with anyone at the fantasy suites, which, by the way, I think that's a fantastic decision to make, because it's like, look, if the relationship works out, you made the right choice. If it doesn't work out, you'll be single again and you can run around and do your thing later on, right? That's kind of how it works. So I thought it was a good decision by him, because in today's world, you just can't get over what will come from the public scrutiny and all that stuff. So either way, chooses her, and then that's when the fallout happened, right? She gets the sort of what is it called? She gets that special date where they doll her up and they look gorgeous together and all that. And then what happens is, it's revealed that she, and I have to be careful how I said this, went to a plantation-themed party in Greek life several years earlier. That being a party where you dress up in the plantation era. And I didn't know anything about this as a rusty New Englander. I knew nothing about what a plantation party was. Excuse me, I'm saying it wrong. An antebellum themed party. I knew what a plantation was, but an antebellum, you just heard the Lady Antebellum, the Antebellum South. You just heard about this, didn't really know what it means, right? And again, that's a failure of my education, either by my teachers or by me not paying attention. I don't know. Maybe it was undiagnosed ADHD. I didn't drink coffee till after high school. If I had coffee, I probably would have gotten into a better school, and maybe I wouldn't be here with you guys, but this is what it is. So they're doing great. And then, of course, the fallout comes, which is Rachael Kirkconnell, it's revealed, was at parties that were generally seen as racist. These parties where you dressed up in the antebellum South and all the white people were dolled up in nice clothes and there was no people of color to be seen, right? Now, Rachael Kirkconnell will then later apologize, which I have a video of right here, her apologizing. I'll play a clip of that. In her apology, she was like, she was destroyed because the show... And nobody ever admits this, but we know this for a fact. We know this through hints that she's said in podcasts. The show highly advised her to not speak publicly. And my thought on that was, in the collateral damage that was caused, was that people were defending the show. Like, hey, let it play out. Wait for it. Chris Harrison goes on the show with Rachel Lindsay and says, hey, times are different. He gets essentially fired, right? He agrees to leave for something like $8 million. So he's out. Rachael Kirkconnell finally says, you know what? I'm going to talk. I'm not going to wait. So Rachael Kirkconnell, against all the show's advice, goes online right here and gives this like straight to camera, I think about 8-10 minute long talk, which is probably still on her Instagram, where she shares, heartbroken, how she had no idea what she was a part of. Not my apology to accept, but watching from the sidelines, I said, I understand, because so often I know in the world I grew up in, there were blind spots I had no idea I was a part of. What Rachael does moving forward will say more about who she is as a human versus what she did previously. Does that make sense?
I need to use my privilege my platform that I so do not deserve.
And she says, I don't deserve this platform. And I think over time she's earned that platform. And then we had a video, I might have lost it here. We had a video of them. Here they are after the final rose. Matt James essentially saying, I can't date you right now based on the fallout of what we've learned.
And that obviously includes you being a black man.
Pin
I've
drops.
never experienced a love like this, so I don't see
She says, I've never
anyone else out there for me.
She says, I've never experienced a love like this, and I don't see anybody else out there for me. So it's very complicated because this is several years ago. Since then, the story about how they reunited, they break up. And a lot of people said, did they really break up? Did they not? They break up. And then what happens is Matt James happens to be in Atlanta for some random conference. There's like a basketball game. He's at the arena, and then he sees that Rachel's close by. He thinks she texted him. She did not text him. So he reaches out to her. Next thing you know, they reunite, and boom, they're back together. And it was a massive, massive story that they got back together. I thought of all the Bachelor relationships we've seen, this would be the one that works out. But let's not be naive here. We only know a fraction of the story. It could have been that they were sort of a highly functioning influencer couple. But by all means, what she said December 5th, 2024, which, by the way, what is that, 5 weeks ago? Yeah. What she said then, I don't think was a lie. I don't think she wasn't believing it. And you know, sometimes you're in a relationship and you're on the rocks. You just don't give it your all. She's saying, this is my whole heart. This is my man. This is that. So for that reason, I don't know what the hell is going on. She responds, he responds, I'm your pumpkin. I love you too, chicken. And people said, give her a ring. And then 5 hours ago, someone said, apparently you're not, and you couldn't propose. Now, there's the question. Did Rachael Kirkconnell put together a hypothetical, date me or marry me or we're done? I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. But at some point, if someone in the relationship wants the relationship to be official, and by that I mean, going down the aisle, at some point that has to happen. Now, I can't judge them for waiting 4 years. My wife and I waited like 8 or 9, we had the pandemic, but still we were at the point where it was like, all right, we got to make this happen. Like let's go. And again, I think it was more or less just, trying to get our feet underneath us during tough times, financially and career wise and things like that. We were living together and all that. So for me, my wife, I think she knew all along where my heart was at, but the ring does the talking. That's like the contract. That's the final. And by the way, if both partners say, you know what, we have audience members that have been together for 25 years. People will leave in the comments, I've been engaged for 20 years. We never did it. If that's fine by you, that's fine by you. But if one party wants that sort of commitment, I think it's kind of beholden on the other party to rise up to that level of commitment and trust. What the hell went down in London? Was it just we had to film these pizzas and then we're going to announce our breakup right after? If that were the case, why not wait a couple more days? So could something more sinister have happened? I hope everyone's okay. If there's anybody you can quote unquote adopt in the breakup, I'm going to go adopt Rachael Kirkconnell. And it's because I know Matt James will be just fine. He's a powerhouse. He's got plenty of great opportunities. He's done good charity work. He's going to be just fine. In the end, I truly mean this. I hope they're both happy. And, we've been known to be in the ear of the Kirkconnell family. They've written us. We've actually had uncles, moms, a bunch of random people write us. And by that, listen, everyone who's been on the show has an aunt or a mom that watches our channel. We are big with the aunts. The aunts love a good Dave and Neal. Okay, we're a big aunt community here. Aunts, if you're in this big aunt community. We have an ant farm of people that just... So my point being is that if they're listening, just remind your daughter, Rachel. Remind her that she'll be okay. And remind Matt, if you're out there, he'll be okay. The best things to do in a breakup... Go get fresh air. You're going to want to sit down and ruminate. Get out of your brain. Get your friends. Surround yourself by your loved ones. Go travel. Keep your brain and your psyche moving forward. Every single day will be better than the last, and you'll sort of break that oxytocin bond that makes you feel so desperately like this was the only one for you. You're gonna make it. You're going to be okay. And that's to anybody out there going through a breakup. You'll be okay. The best way to get through a breakup, and I mean this, the best way is to subscribe to the Rush Hour podcast, where we have twice daily pop culture news. Everything from Blake Lively to Jon Stewart, what Clayton Echard said, to even Joe Biden saying goodbye. We have every single story catching up on the wildfires. I even have Kelsey Anderson. So if anyone was worried that we're not going to have Bachelor content moving forward, I'm here to tell you it's Bachelor Plus. We have Bachelor and we have anything else pop culture related. So Rachel, just subscribe to the podcast and take your mind off of things. Okay, but for everyone else out there, it's on YouTube officially now. You can scan that QR code to listen to audio only for free, or if you want the YouTube, I'll post a link right here and you can go check that out. All right, I got more news to get to, so we'll have a video coming up after this, and I'm live right now with my Patreon behind the scenes, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Bye, guys.